Richard Milhouse Dastardly, commonly known to the public as Dick Dastardly, is what some may consider a villainous icon. He's devious. He's dastardly. And most importantly, he is who I consider possibly the best cartoon villain that humanity has ever created. Hi, I'm Ghost, your host with the most. Dick Dastardly. Look at him. Look at this guy. The hat. The suit. The evil dog sidekick. He's glorious. Created in 1968 for the Hanna-Barbera cartoon Wacky Racers, Dick was placed front and center as the program's main villain. The concept of the show was that a collection of themed cars and their appropriately cartoonishly exaggerated drivers would race to the finish line. We have cave people, the entire mob, a mad scientist, one dude in an airplane, that kind of thing. His gimmick was simple. He liked to cheat. He wanted to win, sure, but he was mostly in it for the cheating. If he doesn't win by cheating, then that's hardly a win at all, really. From creating rock avalanches to block competitors, faking a haunting of an entire town, or simply just sabotaging the other cars, car number 00 and its inhabitants were always my favorite part of the show. And it seemed like everyone else agreed with me on that one. Dick Dastardly immediately became incredibly popular. To this day, he is still showing up in new properties. There is just something about this guy and his pure evil fun value. There's no deeper meaning to any of this. He's Dr. Doofenshmirtz before Dr. Doofenshmirtz ever existed. He works very hard at his evil. It's sort of like a sport for him, really. Not once has this man ever thought he was in the right. He is in it for the love of the game. Frankly, if he didn't cheat, he would most likely win. His car is usually the fastest. He always gets way ahead of everyone else to set his traps in the first place. There's even an episode where he actually almost wins, but stops right before the finish line because he doesn't want to win fairly. That's commitment to the bit that I can respect. By his side in everything he does is his dog, Muttley. He is technically Dastardly's animal sidekick, but he's a pretty focal character in most of the best appearances of this man. He doesn't talk, and mostly just snickers at Dastardly's misfortunes. He does often help with the schemes because, like Dick, he is in it for the love of the game. But he does have a spine. When Dastardly is too mean to him, he has no qualms with letting him fall to his doom or sabotaging the traps. He's a pretty integral part of anything Dick Dastardly features in because their dynamic is both stupid and genius, and I applaud whoever came up with this whole thing. Eventually, Dick Dastardly grew beyond the bounds of his original property and was looking to branch out to other projects. Naturally, this meant he joined the army on the side of World War I Germany. Dastardly and Muttley and their flying machines, or just Stop the Pigeon if you don't want to say all that, is a spin-off show all Dastardly's own. In 1969, a year after the debut of Wacky Racers, the show would go on air. Of course, his not-so-trusty dog Muttley is back, along with new faces Zilly and Clunk. If you're wondering what the deal with the Pigeon is, this show had the 4 squadron members try and routinely fail to, well, stop a pigeon. A pigeon carrying intelligence, to be exact. They'd take to the skies in various airplanes and try and kill it, and of course never be successful. As the squadron leader, Dick basically spent the entire show poorly restraining himself from strangling everyone involved as they repeatedly tried and failed to catch a single bird. It was one of my favorite shows as a kid, actually. I was delighted to dig up old clips of it online, mind how grainy the footage is. The theme song forever lives in my brain, and I have fantastic memories of watching this fool and his fool squad fall out of the sky over and over again, trying to stop Yankee Doodle Pigeon. It was great. And for me, that was the end of it. That's all I thought there was, really. Until his apparent son was the main villain of a Scooby-Doo movie, and yep, okay, that's not the end. So as it turns out, there was a lot I did not know about Dick Dastardly. One thing is apparently he has a whole family tree. Yep, the Stop the Pigeon version was Dick Dastardly the First, whose son, Dick Jr., or Dick Dastardly the Second, was the one in Wacky Racers, and then Dick Dastardly the Third, again, looking almost identical to the first two, rode in the reboots. But they're just the same guy, over and over again. Strong genes, damn. I assume Muttley has to be the same way, or that is one old dog. He's got an established family as well. A wife, a brother, all with various and appropriately dastardly names. Though I suppose Thanksgiving would be a bit awkward with his cousin, Sheriff Longarm D. Law. Do you ever think he feels left out of the family theme? Skipping over some of the cameo appearances in shorts, of which there are a lot, including South Park and for some reason Uncle Grandpa. His original show has been rebooted twice, once in 2006 and once in 2017, and of course he returned for both. He even has an episode in the 2017 version where Dastardly the First comes to harass his grandson for using his father's genius tactics, such as getting really far ahead and then stopping to set incredibly obvious traps. Nice to have someone point it out for once. Strangely, Dick Dastardly has always had a weirdly close association with Yogi Bear. Apart from a series of shorts in which he raced against the creature, he's been featured prominently in two of his shows, 1985's Yogi's Treasure Hunt and Yo Yogi from 1991. This needs to be weird to someone else. What about Yogi Bear screams that they need Dick Dastardly as the villain? But villain he was! Yo Yogi was a pretty simple childification show in the vein of A Pup Named Scooby-Doo or that Baby Muppets show where popular characters are made into small children. And I couldn't really get that much into Treasure Hunt. I tried. I did. I watched some of the old episodes for the sake of research, but okay, listen to this. This cat guy here rounds up the Yogi gang to go treasure hunting because the President of the United States claims they're missing America's greatest treasure, right? So Dick Dastardly, the objective best character in this show, decides he wants to go there first, while everyone else is getting clues inexplicably placed around America, which, by the way, did they put those in the last 24 hours? Dick Dastardly breaks into Fort Knox. I mean, obviously that's wrong, but man, gotta respect the effort. In the end, Dick Dastardly gets to the finish line, but doesn't win, because apparently the true treasure is, like, the American spirit or whatever? I don't know, I'm not American. And then the president says that they're so cool and declares that they're the official treasure hunters for the president now, giving them a big airship so they can fly away and do more treasure. I kid you not, I literally stopped midway through to Google if this was some kind of war propaganda cartoon from how much they were talking about America and the American spirit and how cool and historical America is, but I didn't see anything, so I'm just going to assume it's just like that. Maybe this is like a lore extension of Dick Dastardly having been in World War I, and that Pigeon he was trying to stop was implied to be American. I'm gonna stop that train of thought now. I think Dick Dastardly was possibly the perfect villain for a show like Wacky Racers. Silly, over the top, just dumb and conniving enough that you're both subtly rooting for him and do not want him to win under any circumstances. His voice is fantastic, his design is so iconic they used it 4 times for 4 different Dastardlys, and he still looks great to this day, even in live action. Which actually happened once, but I'm getting distracted. The point is, Dick Dastardly is the single best villain in any cartoon ever, and he deserves appreciation for all of his hard, trap-filled years making cartoon history. Thank you, Dick Dastardly. Comment your favorite, obviously inferior, cartoon villain down below, and make sure to like and subscribe or Dick Dastardly will paint a fake tunnel on your wall. For now, thanks for watching, and good night.